The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, home to nearly 100 million people, faces significant gender inequality challenges despite women making up 41% of its population, with women comprising 62% of the labor force, predominantly in agriculture. Their contributions to micro and small enterprises and informal sectors remain underappreciated. To explore the barriers to financial access and highlight ongoing initiatives, CNBC Africa had an exclusive in-depth interview with Elisabeth Kibitek Goueth, associate partner at Microsave Consulting. Let us listen in.
As we all know, the DRC is one of the largest countries in Africa, with almost 100 million of population, and among them we have 41% of women. And as in many other countries, women face discrimination that is noticeable in different domains, especially in the social cultural gaps that restrict women to engage into social life, economic life, and even public decision. And for instance, we have the Gender Inequality Index, which measure the gender disparities in 3 areas between men and women. The areas are the reproductive health, the empowerment, and even the labor market participation. And in the GRC, it was at around 0.6 in 2022, which means that the level of inequalities between men and women is still high in this dimension. Talking about participation of women in the labor sector force, it is estimated at almost 62%. And we can also notice that 69% of women work mostly in the agricultural sector, while among them 20.5% already almost are entrepreneurs. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's good to mention that there are 2 different types of entrepreneurs that we can say. There are these small, small businesses, women, that start the business by because they need to earn to make their ends meet, and usually they they can cook food, sell them on the streets. They can resell manufactured goods, or even sometimes they can cross borders to make trades with neighboring countries. And this is the larger part. And the second type, and that has mostly SMEs, and that is this group of women that decide to launch their business, and because they want to scale it and pursue a market opportunity. Usually, women businesses are in the agricultural sectors, as I said, and they are often also, you can also find them in small-scale trading, manufacturing, services, but mostly in the informal sector, because the first type of women that are small is the larger part of entrepreneurs women in the DRC. Talking about SMEs themselves, there is little existing data. However, there are studies that have shown that in the DRC there are more than 300,000 SMEs. Among them, we have at least 40% of women SMEs. And even there are striking differences, mostly regarding the earning outcomes. Women run businesses perceive 67% lower profits on average than men. And even in the agricultural sector, where we have most women working there, we can notice that women farmers produce less than 18% less revenue than men, and they are even 11% less productive than men. That just shows that there are lots of challenges in the sector for these women in the DRC.
Indeed. And in terms of accessing finance in the DRC, what are some of the challenges that women face? And also, what role can we see the financial institutions play here in terms of supporting the women SMEs? And also maybe any initiatives that maybe they can come up to help the women access finance?
Yeah, there are many challenges apart from the common challenges that SMEs have. I can talk about, let's say, 4 main challenges related to women in the DRC. The first one is the limited access to education. Many women lack access to formal education and lack access to training that is necessary for them to run successful businesses. We can notice that 49.9% of women only have completed primary school compared to 78.4% of men. That's huge. And that's a limits women from understanding financial services and how they work and how they can even navigate effectively in the banking system. One second group of challenge is this access to finance itself. And we have data that show that less than 4% of women-led companies can have access to a bank loan compared to less than 10% of men. I know the financing gap in the sector of SMEs is huge, but still for women it's worse. So this gap can be understood because of women's lower level of training and financial literacy, but also the limited access to professional network. And some financial institution also requires a substantial collateral that women don't have because they lack assets. And the fact that women are in informal sectors is also can also be a big issue because they lack formal registration. And another challenge, the third one, is the cultural norms and perceptions, gender discrimination. In the society, is believed that men are better in business than women. Men are also often believed to be primary breadwinners, while women are expected to, focus on domestic responsibilities. And usually that discourages women from starting business. And they do not want to be perceived like people that neglect their family duties or that are bad human beings. And that also reduces the confidence, the amount of confidence that they can have in their own capacities. And talking about responsibilities, the women bear a disproportionate share of caregiving and household duties. That limits and reduces the amount of time they can have to focus on their business. And the last challenge I will talk about is related to domestic and gender-based violence. There are very high rates of domestic violence and gender-based violence that limits or that can limit women from starting their businesses in the GRC or to from fully engaging in the economic activities. Up to 42% of women in the GRC are survivors of domestic violence, and 47% of them are victims of harmful traditional practices. That is still huge. But to overcome all these challenges, there are initiatives that have been put in place by financial institutions, and I think we can talk about some here.
Yes.
And these initiatives, sorry, have been facilitated by some reform that have happened in the family code. In the family code in the JRC was developed initially in 1987, and this family code maintained or treated married women as legal minor and preventing them to like directly contracting with the financial institution. For instance, they needed a marital authorization, that means the husband permission to sign any binding contract, legally binding contract, to work, to register for a business, or even to open an account. So in 2016, there was a reform that kind of removed all these discrimination parts in the code, and this reform eliminates the marital authorization for women, so they could easily access bank accounts, open the bank accounts, access to loan, and even start business without the husband authorization. I will cite a three um, initiative from financial institution. I will start with Robank. Robank has launched in 2010, yeah, a program that is called Ladies First. This is a program that is dedicated for adult women who owns at least 51% sorry, of their businesses that are really active in the daily operation management of these businesses. But the businesses should be formally registered. And what they have is that they have access to a broad range of financial services like Visa debit card, which enables them to, secure transactions in the country and internationally. They also have preferential pricing on banking transactions, preferential interest rates on financing. They can have access to capacity building initiative because the program organizes training sessions to enhance the managerial skills in collaboration with other partners. They also have access to networking opportunities and access to a dedicated team to support them when they have a problem. A second example that I can take here is Finca GRC that has launched a concept that is called just for help, just for her, literally translated in English, and that started in 2021. This is a loan product that is designed for women that own a company or a business, and the particularity is that it provides a flexible financing options for these women, and the loans can range from $500 to $30,000, and the repayment terms are also flexible. They go from 6 to 24 months. And finally, I will talk about Green Salah Farm, which is a product launched by SMICO, which is also a microfinance institution in the GRC, and it's also a loan product tailored for women entrepreneurs with repayment period up to 36 months, flexible collaterals that are adapted to the real situation of these women. And also, they can benefit from financial education. They can also benefit from support provided in terms of business management. So there are many challenges, as we have seen. There are also ongoing initiatives that are growing and that a woman can benefit from to overcome those challenges.